From Pleb Lab in Austin, Texas, this is Stacker News Live.
All right, everybody. Cheers to the new Pleb Lab.
Cheers.
Let's fucking go.
Cheers.
Hello, this is Joe. Welcome back to another sign episode of Stacker News Live. My name's Car. I'm with all the Pleb Labbers here, full force. Start the show, Keyan.
Let's start it.
How was your week?
My week was a crazy week because as we just kind of cheers to, Pleb Lab has moved into a new office space, and that Stacker News' home has always been Pleb Lab, and so Stacker News has moved as well. So it's crazy for me. How about you? I mean, it has to be extra crazy for you.
It's been a crazy week, man. There's just a lot of. So I found out what a RET is. You know what a RET is? I want to write a story on it, but it's basically a real estate investment fund of a sort. And it's weird how like most of the stuff downtown Austin is just a RET. That's where it's owned by. It's not
like
bad
a venture fund where it has like partners.
Yeah, it's not a bad or a good thing. It slows everything down. I never understood why stuff. And then you go.
It's like a board, probably.
Yeah, you go and do this stuff, and then you realize like this is how the world is now because we live in a mass inflationary time of our lives.
I think investments groups would probably exist even on a Bitcoin standard. I think that kind of makes sense. I had a friend who invested in one of these RETs before. He had like a family friend who like ran a RET, and it's really interesting because they'll from his telling of it, they would like promise a certain return on investments and stuff, because real estate is actually fairly predictable. That's one of the nice things. That's why so many people invest in it, is because the returns, except in, and credit crunches, are pretty predictable.
So what you see is there's these REITs, and they own a multitude of different properties across sometimes the world, but mostly America. And that's kind of what it slows a lot of the back and forth kind of thing down. But anyway, that's for another day. Maybe I'll write a Stacker News post about it, but that's kind of what I've been dealing with. Other than that, it's a great space though. What do you think?
I'm excited. I have a my office before was a triangle, and now my office is a full square. So I have I went from half an office to a full office. And so I'm excited about that. I always enjoy figuring out a new space. And also the space is really cool. It's like we're in sort of a basement. So it still has, we're kind of doing it on the cheap hacker style. Yeah. It's like eerily quiet because we're in poured concrete below the ground. It's really a good
area too. It's not a lot.
Yeah, the area is great. We went and grabbed beers just right now, and it was like literally I think it was like a 30-second walk to go get beers. We had lunch. It was a 30-second walk to go get lunch. And
we're right by the Commons too. So if you come to Austin, there's two places to do Bitcoin. There's the Commons and then Pleb Lab. And so we're we're an alleyway away from the Commons, which is good because all our friends are there too. So I'm bullish, man. Bullish.
Car's been very happy all day. I'm very excited. Everyone's very excited. We had so many people come help us move. Yeah. And
vibes are high in the lab.
Vibes are high.
All right, cool. We're going to jump into the top 5 stories of the week here on Stacker News Live. If you've never seen this show before, this is called Stacker News Live. We typically cover the top 5 stories that are voted on stacker.news, the front page of Bitcoin. And we're going to get into the first top story. The first top story is acceptln.com. Every email address now accepts Bitcoin Lightning. This is 57 comments, 50K boost, 19.2K sats. Yeah, what is this, Keyan?
This is pretty cool. I think this is what's interesting about this idea is I think most of us probably imagine this existing in some form, but never. I don't think anyone's actually followed through with it because it is kind of like the details of it aren't exactly clear. Conceptually, it makes a lot of sense. We're all using these. Just to explain what it is, it's like. You can send money to someone's email address. Say you have Joe's email address who works at Nike, and you want to send Joe at Nike.com some Bitcoin. You can do that using acceptln. And it's an interesting, you might be able to orange pill Joe at Nike because he might be curious about, trying to receive the money that you just sent him. and that's what it is. And then you can actually, you can send him the money. If he doesn't claim it back, you can get it back. And I think in the comments, the Accept LN team described.
Yeah, it looks like it's here in their pricing. For each payment, we give you 60 days to set up your wallet with no fee paid to us. If you choose not to set up your wallet and claim your payments with us within 60 days, we will begin to charge an activity fee paid daily.
Yeah. So as a sender, I think you can take your payment back before 60 days. But after that, they will begin taking a little bit of money from the amount that you sent the person. And then I think if people just get too lazy, the sender doesn't ever, I think the sender removes their right to claim it back after 60 days. And then if it's never redeemed by Joe at Nike, then they just over time, they will take possession of the funds 100%. And so that's like their business model. It's actually pretty cool. You can orange pill.
I think my Bitcoiner, just my hat comes on and immediately it's just, I don't know. That kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like, let's say I send it to, I don't know, my sister, and she's like, she has this email address that she's been using forever.
Katie@katie.com.
No, she has a different one. But how would she be able to figure this out? And then also too, how do we know we can trust this Accept LN not to, rug pull or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Is there anything on the
right, you're trusting this service certainly on both ends. Maybe they send your sister an email and the email says send this much Bitcoin to this address and we'll give you twice as much. It could be a scam. I would guess it isn't.
I would guess
but
it isn't too.
There's a lot of trust in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust. I think for me, I don't see an about page on here. That's another kind of thing. That's kind of oh, here we go. Who we are. Okay, it looks like there's a person here from El Salvador. Okay, at least there's some transparency here. Okay, cool. Okay, I feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
it's tough, dude, to do this custodial stuff. It really is. It comes down to,
that's why we don't
it's
like
it. Voltage, right? I trust Voltage is going to do right,
but they're not entirely custodial.
You know what I mean? There's some trust there.
Yeah, there is trust.
There's trust there. I know Graham personally, so it's would he rug us?
Amazing person. I don't. Yeah, if anyone's going to steal from anyone,
so it's just it's just really tough to. That's what I'm saying. Is just as a Bitcoiner, it's tough to place your hands things. This is from Mixmaster. He says, "Great idea, and thank you for building stuff for Bitcoin adoption. I can see one general issue. As far as I understand it, the sender has to enter the email address of the recipient on your website to make it work. That means you are storing a lot of email address, which turns you into a honeypot for hackers. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. To collect emails for sending scam and spam. I personally would also be pissed when somebody puts my so far spam for email on some list without permission, of course." And then Conduition says, "I won't pretend to have read all of the code, but after the initial claim email is sent, I don't see any strict requirement why they should need to keep the recipient's plain text email address on file. The claim link in the initial payment notification email contains a secret that redeems the coins. So unless they need to send follow-up emails in inactive payee, the email address could be discarded once the payment notification email is sent. Interesting if that is true. That would be pretty awesome. I guess Accept LN can clarify how they do it." Yeah, so there's just a lot of these kind of trust things, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of trust in a custodial service. There's a lot of trust with a service that you're giving a real email address to that isn't an alias. And so if you're planning on using this service, you should consider that. But regardless, I think it's
good on the team. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool thing that they built.
And they should expect this stuff at this point. Stackers are too smart not to ask these questions.
Yeah. Speaking as someone who has email login on Stacker News, I know a lot of people are smart enough to use alias services. We get, we have a ton of people using aliases, and I think that's probably the way to do it.
Cool. Check it out, Stackers. It was a top story of the week. Definitely has a lot of interest. Definitely there's a need for it, right? MicroStrategy did it earlier this year. So there's definitely a need for it.
Yeah.
The next top story is on the culture crisis, compromising the future of the Lightning Dev Kit project. This is from the Arion, October 29, 24 comments, 20,000, 2K sats, a meta post. What is this, Keyan?
This is from Anthony.
Oh, sorry.
Anthony Riyad. I don't know. That's my cheap impression of French, but so Anthony has been in the Bitcoin news a little bit for a while. He's the one who disclosed the FEE cycling attack earlier, and has been, the center of certain kinds of drama for a bit. And I think this is him. He's begun to write on it. So this is, he wrote another piece, I think, he published last night. But this is where he was like, he got rescinded from the African Bitcoin conference, his request to speak. But this one specifically is about Lightning Dev Kit, and he has some gripes with the Lightning Dev Kit. Apparently he was quite actively involved with them and was maintainer of their project for a while. And I think they rescinded his maintainership, even though he never really used it.
Wow, that's kind of a big deal, right?
I mean, apparently he thinks it is, even though he never really used it. He sees it as like, he was unceremoniously removed. So he sees it as kind of like them, they have some kind of issue with him and they removed him. And this is him voicing his frustrations around his dealings with the team, which he elaborates in this post more or less. It's very like
inside baseball.
It's very oblique. Like he doesn't actually describe what's actually going on. There's a lot of context here that you have to be, you would miss if you weren't following the LDK project on GitHub and you weren't reading the mailing list. I haven't been following this drama, but apparently if you go to the comments,
Tony probably. Yeah, I know those guys are LDK.
Tony, Giorgio in the comments has.
Do you want to read what he said?
No, I don't like to. But the summary of what he said is that if you're curious about what Antony is actually talking about, there is a historical record for it, and you can go back and read it. And Tony has his own judgments on what has been going on, and he shares that in that comment. His general sentiment is that this is kind of out of hand drama.
It's a bear market,
and perhaps maybe the bear market is causing it. People seem to think the bear market has an effect on people.
It does, yeah. It's tight. The money's tight around the space right now, and certain people get credit, certain people get attributed for things. And not saying this is that situation. I'm just saying it's very easy for stuff to get taken out of context, especially in the bear market. Definitely read it, stackers. I'm not going to try to read it for you guys. It's a second top story of the week, which is kind of shocking. So it was a big deal to the community, but definitely read it. There's a lot there if you're really interested.
Well, I think, Go ahead. I think what it demonstrates is it's like surfacing some of the stuff that has been going on behind the scenes to the public.
Do you think this is the way to do it though? Or is there a better way of doing discourse? Or you think this is appropriate?
I don't really know.
Like how would you get upset if like say ZEUS or one of these other guys like had this kind of discourse for Stacker News on Stacker News? Like,
no, I don't think so. I mean, I prefer when people say when I'm being a shithead. I don't really.
To your face, you mean?
Yeah, I prefer to know about it rather than it happening
online.
Offline and people thinking about. I would like to know, like, I want to be the best version of myself, and if people are hiding information from me, it's going to be hard for me to do because there's a lot of stuff that I'm so biased. We're all so biased when we think about ourselves.
I'd rather. Yeah, I'll hold reservation on some things until I talk to the person and then have it out with that person on whatever thing it is. I hope everybody does that to me too. I mean, so
I don't know. Do you want to be? I mean, like, are you the guy who wants to be told that they have something in their teeth, or do you want to be? That's like. Yeah, so that's I think the difference here is like,
but there's a little bit of. I mean, I'm not saying this situation. I'm talking about my own situations. Like, I feel like there's a sense of professionalism on my side that you have to maintain. And I'm not talking in this situation or speaking to. I'm just saying, just in general, it's like we're doing this as a. As our livelihoods, right?
There's not one form of professionalism though. And this is where I think people get caught up is they think they know the true form of professionalism. And I think it's actually like rather complex. And there are many forms of like it can be very professional to be blunt and honest all the time. It's mostly just that you are, you are consistent, and any commitments you've made are being honored. And that's kind of that's probably the professionalism thing. But some versions of professionalism are like nothing's discussed publicly. It's all behind closed doors. And, the truth is dangerous. Like that's a version of professionalism. The government has a version of professionalism.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're not like saying.
Okay. Point. I hear your point. Anyway, Stackers, take a look. It's, so that person got removed from the ABC conference?
Yeah, so he followed up last night, and he shared the email that he got from the ABC conference, which is the African Bitcoin conference going on in Ghana. I think it's either later this year, or early next year. I don't recall exactly.
It was a very popular. It was the first one last year. It was very popular.
Yeah,
I think Jack had went there, and a couple other. Really,
I want to go. I've never been to Africa before.
I would love to go,
but that he was offered to speak. Accepted, bought tickets, or bought a flight there, and they rescinded his offer, and he wrote about that.
Hate to see it.
Yeah, and there's I guess this involves somehow the drama that's going on. He is, of course, claiming there's kind of some kind of conspiracy among sponsors, but who knows what's true here. So
cool. Yeah. The next top story is the ZEUS V0. Did we cover this last week? LN node in your pocket. This is from Natalia, 58 comments, 8,139 cents. Did we cover this? Wasn't this my top story last week?
I think it was your top story.
Okay.
This was roughly a week ago, so you might have picked it up, but or it might have been a different story about ZEUS. But yeah, if anyone's hasn't been following ZEUS and their progress. They have, Evan has taken on turning ZEUS into a company, and ZEUS prior. Evan was only working part-time on ZEUS prior, and he ZEUS was like an interface to your node at home.
Yeah,
and that's how I use ZEUS. That's what I understood ZEUS to be, but Evan's been really. Grinding and working really hard, and he's turned ZEUS into now gives you the option to be a full node on your phone. So like Breeze, like Blixt, like Simple Bitcoin Wallet was, it's running an LND node on your phone, and they're running their own LSP, like many of these wallets end up doing, to provide superior UX to their users. So a lot going on with ZEUS. They're iterating and trying to build a fantastic wallet. So this post is about Natalia, and her experience using ZEUS.
ZEUS is phenomenal. Like, I'm a big fan of ZEUS. Been a big fan of ZEUS for a long time. And I've always said this about ZEUS. You can really see Evan himself, and once you know him as a personality, you can see that in his product.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Same thing with like Paul and like the Mutiny stuff. You can see Paul into that's what I love about like the Bitcoin startups and wallets and all the stuff that we do, is you can see that person, the founders in their project. You know them, Same thing you too. Like I can see you in Stacker News.
Yeah, we can all. Yeah,
it's really, that's the cool thing I love about it. The second thing is, dude, he was on Citadel. You haven't listened. I listened to the podcast over there. Fantastic podcast. Him and Matt were just going back and forth. Covered a lot of ground. Definitely highly recommend it. I'm surprised he didn't get shared on Stacker News, but like it's a great podcast to get a good understanding of what he's trying to do with ZEUS, and highly recommend that Citadel Dispatch. We were watching it together I think on Monday, right before we were moving out the other lab. So, but yeah, awesome. Natalia says here, where is it at? Darthcoin had the top comment. He said, I did a test between ZEUS and Blix. Both our LND nodes are fully interoperable. Created a new node in ZEUS, open channel, save this SCB into a bin file. Fully shut down ZEUS, start Blix, new instance, select recovery wallet, insert SCB.bin file, wait to sync and close channels, funds recovered on-chain perfectly. Do not open both at the same time. Maybe I would do a test on the other way around with Blix and ZEUS, but should work fine. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, he basically said, basically what Darthcoin was describing was you can create a wallet or you can create a Lightning node on ZEUS, and you can fully recover it with the backups in another wallet, not just ZEUS, because they're both using LND.
Yeah, I would say stackers, if you're trying to get Bitcoin out there to the masses, one thing that you can do to help the devs out, especially projects like ZEUS and Mutiny and all these other projects, Phoenix, is do write-ups, do reviews, post them on your blogs, share it. That's how you get the word out there. I mean, that's literally what I did with Thriller, is just get the word out there for Stacker News, get the word out there for all my friends, projects. If you do the same, you'll get it out there to the masses. And that's one easy way for you to help, is reviews like Natalia's doing in Darthcoin. This stuff helps.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Cool. The next top story is Bitcoin, a misunderstood revolution. This is from Jimmy Song, 22 comments, 9,894 sats, a Bitcoin post on October 31st. What's this, Keyan?
Yeah. So Jimmy wrote he's been writing essays recently, which is always nice to see. And this one is about just kind of a riff on Bitcoin and, how significant it is. And I think we forget that what it has established was previously thought to be kind of not possible. And just kind of, reminding us to not take for granted the significance of Bitcoin's invention. And then also, as many people have begun to do recently, remind us that at some point, Bitcoin will be.
I like how you're summoning me like the dawn.
I'm sorry, Dave. Hey, you're next. You can. Do you want
to pull up a chair?
Sure. Let me grab my drink.
Okay. Anyways, kind of reminding us that Bitcoin there are people who are alive right now who were born after Bitcoin's invention, and they will become adults.
Yeah.
Where in a few years where they'll be adults and Bitcoin will be older than them, and they've been alive the whole time they've been alive. Bitcoin has existed.
That's for me, dude. When I think of stuff like that, it's like my nieces, right? My nephews, like that's kind of what I think.
Yeah.
Do you want to scooch over?
Yeah.
Cool. So this is one of them. The top comment was from Figit. He said, yet even after 15 years, most people don't get the significance of this new thing that was created. Maybe it's time to ask ourselves why. So kind of cool. Definitely always love seeing Jimmy up there. We just need to zap him.
Zap.
We don't need to move this time.
We're not even on the screen anymore.
Yeah, zap Jimmy.
We're safe.
He's an OG stacker. I don't think people realialize. Where is he? Oh, 178, dude.
Oh, he was very. He put me in his newsletter like within the first month of his launch.
I love me some Jimmy Song.
Yeah.
Cool. The next top story is this transaction represents an entire year of my life. This is from Blue Slime, 18 comments, 25K boost, 29,000 sats.
Who's this Blue
October 31st Bitcoin post. What is this?
Who's this weird guy? Blue Slime?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what is this, Keyan? Explain it.
Oh, yeah. So apparently
how old is my account?
Shadowy supercoder.
Close.
How old is your account? What? Oh, okay. No,
got a lot of ones in
first
there.
10,000.
That was like trips, quads. What was that?
So Blue Slime has apparently been working on getting this. Well, I'm sure he had early versions of this done, but this is the finale, the grand reveal of a year of Blue Slime's work on BitEscrow, which is an escrow service. And I don't need to talk about it because we have the slime here.
Yeah. The man, the myth, the monster. Yeah. So this is a pretty boring transaction. When you look at it on the mempool, it just looks like a bunch of single signatures, pay to taproot spends, nothing special. But behind the scenes, there's actually a lot of fancy cryptography that went on. And so this is a non-custodial Bitcoin smart contract.
Wow.
Yeah. It uses covenants combined with Musig. So Musig 2, which is brand spanking new, like it's still sort of been finalized, but it's still not BIP 327. It's still got some rough edges. So I think there's some more work that's going to be done into it. But yeah, we're using Music 2, and then we're using a custom protocol on top of Music 2 to basically do these pre-signed covenants. So they're covenants, the best covenants that you can possibly get on Bitcoin without a soft fork is doing it this way. And so it's a brand new thing. I can't wait to formally reveal it to the academic community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that I have to do in putting all this on paper.
Like a white, you're talking about revealing a white paper?
Yeah.
Did you release this on the mailing list?
No.
No? Okay. No. You don't think it's ready?
No, I don't like the mailing list. I think they need to move on to something more modern.
Okay.
Yeah. They're talking about that too. Like there was like
there have been
recently.
recent conversations about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I can throw it up there on the mailing list.
As long as I know Topher, Topher's always loved to just do things quietly and doesn't like to draw too much attention to himself. And he's comfortable just doing stuff like this and not talking about it. Like if you didn't ask him today, he'd be like,
No.
No, he's just very humble like that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. You ask me questions about it or?
Well, I mean, so what does this mean for the average Bitcoin person? What will this eventually lead to for the average Bitcoin person? I guess that's
a great question.
like, I like in your post, I even asked, I'm like, okay, so I understand the significance of this because I've had conversations with you and I've been like watching you work for a long time on it. But, there's a gap between the technicalities and how difficult and how much work have been on it and the results that will come from it. And so what does the user get? You know what I mean?
So, hopefully, what this means for the average user is hyper Bitcoinization.
Yeah.
Because the idea is to build a standard for doing escrow with Bitcoin that is good enough for the entire world to adopt. And that would lead to hyper Bitcoinization. As far as the average user, what you will see, hopefully, is a lot of really cool new things that you can do with Bitcoin. But there's still like, what we've released is like the API layer. And so there's still another thing that we have to build on top of that between the API and the end user.
Right.
So that's like the next step is we're going to build like a sample mom and pop escrow.
Okay.
But the idea is essentially like imagine just being able to socially collaborate on a smart contract on Bitcoin non-custodially.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to describe it.
With an oracle with an escrow agent, like, right.
With an escrow agent, but with the covenants, we're essentially, it's like, there's really not a lot we can do to screw you. If you know who you're doing business with, we literally can't like if you have a bunch of friends and you go into a contract together, the worst thing we can do is send it to the wrong friend.
Okay.
We literally can't do anything outside of that. And so covenants are one half of the equation. The other half is the contract virtual machine, which is really just a very basic cryptographic proof creating machine so that as you interact with the contract and you submit these signed statements, I want to open up this spending path. I want to vote to settle on this spending path. You sort of build this collaborative cryptographic proof that proves everything that happened, all the negotiation that took place.
And I assume there's like a penalty in that. Is there a penalty mechanism in that process or? Right
now, the only penalty is essentially we ruin our reputation because there's no way for us. The way that the VM is set up is that it's essentially the users of that VM are set up in the proposal. That's like the first step. Yeah. And that proposal outlines like it's a decision tree. It outlines everything that can possibly be done, all decisions, all edge cases, everything. Exhaust. So if we do, the only thing that we could do to veer from that is send it to the wrong friend or send it to the wrong participant. Right. And if we do that, you have a cryptographic proof that we did that. And so we ruin our reputation. So right now it's just essentially we kill our reputation and we don't even get to steal the money. Right. So it's kind of lousy.
So, this is what we're describing here is underpinning an escrow mechanism fundamentally. Yes. Yeah. So, an escrow is more common than most people realize in normal transactions. There's usually escrow agents behind all kinds of financial services that we use. Most people would be familiar with probably like real estate transactions, but any type of large transaction usually involves an escrow agent, or transactions between people who don't trust each other usually involves an escrow agent. And so this has utility in all of those circumstances. And then a lot more fun.
Can you explain the transaction real quick, just so the stackers at home have a good idea of what's going on here?
Yeah. So if you go back to the post, we'll kind of walk through, and I just want to clarify. So an agent is a robot. I actually put in the
I didn't know
the GitHub that an agent's kind of like a meeseeks.
Yeah.
That their existence is only to compute what is in the contract. Basically collect signatures, and then compute the contract with everybody's signed witness statements, and then come to a resolution and then spit out a transaction. So there's no ambiguity.
Okay.
There's no decision making that is outside of what's technically defined in the contract. So it's really all completely 100% automated.
What about in the case of a coin flip, where obviously that you can't automate the observation of the coin flip, right?
So you can insert your own third-party arbitrator in the contract if you want to have manual intervention.
Okay.
So we will have like a separate kind of platform where we're offering ourselves as like that agent that can sort of manually intervene.
I see.
But on the API layer, the core protocol layer, everything's automated. There's no actual like human agent that gets to step in and decide.
I see. You don't get you optionally introduce the human agent.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
cool.
completely optional.
Wow.
Yeah. And if so, in this proposal, what you see is two different spending paths, heads and tails. And so what this basically sets up is it sets up the transactions that the depositors will sign to deposit funds into the contract. Mm-hmm. So the covenant is a bunch of pre-signed transactions using Musig with a custom protocol that we developed. And so the depositor will sign those two different transactions that come out of those two spending paths, heads and tails. And so the agent has the discretion to choose which spending path to settle on. So we do have some leeway there, but the other part, everything else in the proposal is basically to set up the state machine of how this contract can be debated between the members, who those members are. So those are public keys. We're using a proof mechanism. That's essentially, it's a signature. It's a signature that is actually Nostr compatible, because we want to hook Nostr into this as well. So essentially it's like a threshold signature. So it's a threshold of 1 for either one of those. So either party can basically close the contract. So it's a very actually insecure contract, because either party can just decide to close the contract the way that they want. So it should actually be like a 2 of 2. But I just wanted to get this out there really quickly. So I didn't really think about it too much. But yeah, so that sets up the contract. The depositors, if they want to deposit funds, they can look at that proposal and they know exactly what transactions to sign, to pre-sign, to give over to the agent. And as far as the members of the contract, they know how to interact to build the cryptographic proof that proves how the money should be settled.
Okay.
And then all the agent has to do is just do what the members have said. And
so could you plug in theoretically like an oracle into this equation of a sort, or it won't rely on that because it's settled through a third party?
So part of the reason I designed it this way is we want to be like the Zapier of Bitcoin. We want to be able to essentially hook any sort of third party API integration into controlling a Bitcoin contract. And so at the core protocol, it's very simple and strict on how this thing is run. So essentially there are no edge cases where we can try and either steal that. Well, we certainly can't steal the money. The covenants make sure that we can't even, we have no choice in where the money goes. It's all preordained by the depositors. But even when it comes to the adjudication part, like everything is laid out by the terms of the proposal. So it's obvious, and this is all software running this, but it's obvious to the software what the solution should be, like what you should settle on.
Gotcha.
So we can't deviate from that. It ruins our reputation, but you can insert like a third party arbitrator that could be represented by an API that essentially triggers the contract to
Can you talk about a little bit
close.
about the dependencies that you use, or the resources? I'm sorry, not the dependencies, the resources that you used. You say here you had one hard third-party dependency and a couple of soft dependencies.
Yeah. So the only hard dependency, so everything's written from scratch, from the ground up. The only dependency that I chose to have was the Noble Curves library that's written by Paul Miller, because his code is fantastic. He does a lot of amazing optimizations for doing elliptic curve cryptography in JavaScript. And so I really can't do it better than him. And also his code base is audited. It's a no-brainer to use it. So I'm using him and his library for doing the elliptic curve math.
Okay.
But everything on top of that is written from scratch.
Nice. Cool. Dang, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Like, this is just the beginning. There's so much planned with this. Yeah.
You guys been working really hard on it, you and Tristan. It's really great to see you guys launch it. I know we've talked about it personally. It's good to see.
Tristan is wearing low profile sandals now. He's really taking his feet seriously. He's really ready. He's ready now.
Yeah.
He's downgraded quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Bear market stuff.
But if anyone's curious about to learn more, the GitHub README is really, I think, very well detailed. I was super impressed by how detailed.
That's just Topher.
I know. It was
Topher in general.
Topher
is just like that naturally.
I try to go hard with the
look at his
documentation.
hair. There's like no hair out of place. I get it. It makes a lot of sense. But I hadn't appreciated it until I started reading his README, and you can really go through the details of what's going on and understand it. And yeah, I think this is a big deal. One question I wanted to end with is, why do you think no one has done a great job with Bitcoin escrow yet? Why haven't we seen this before?
Because it's really, really hard. And there's just like, I had to solve a lot of challenges. I had to go back and write things from scratch. Like, I had to do like a custom version of BIP32 for key derivation. I had to do like a custom version of Musig. Like, I really had to figure out, like, how do we do this to where the real, like, banks will use it. Like, banks will actually use this to settle their balances between each other and not have to do a soft fork. Because a lot of other people, they just put their hands up and they either go the custodial route, in which case that ends badly. They end up losing customer funds, or they go, well, we're going to just build this thing that is going to use some soft fork like feature, like OpCTV or something, which, more power to them for pushing that forward. But I didn't feel like that was a tenable solution. Like, we had to have something that works today.
Okay.
So
no one had been willing to grind. Like, no one had been willing to climb Everest fully. They summited too low, and okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, so the Musig really helps because
Taproot didn't exist.
Taproot, yeah. So a big one is you can do simple escrow on Bitcoin just using multisig. You can also, but then you don't have any privacy guarantees.
Right.
Like, everything is visible. Also, it's highly interactive. Like, you need to all come together at the moment of signing, where with what we're doing, it's pre-signed.
Can you imagine doing that? Yeah. With your counterparty in a real estate transaction.
No, well, like, one of the examples I like to use is that, like, imagine you buy something on eBay and you're using this, and a person, they want some insurance that if they get a brick that they can get their money back. But let's say you don't send them a brick, you send them the item that they want and they're happy. They just walk away. They don't come back to their computer to go, oh, let me like log in and do this complicated process in order to make sure the seller gets their money.
No one wants to do that. Yeah.
No. So part of the real challenge of this was making it private. making it fast, and also making it asynchronous or making it non-interactive. And yeah, so we're using cutting edge
So
cryptography. So it's like, yeah, a lot of this stuff didn't even exist a year ago.
Oh man, that's so exciting.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. All right.
So
Awesome.
Thank you for
dropping in and explaining all this for us too.
no,
Appreciate
thank you.
Appreciate it. Cheers to you and bid escrow on.
I don't know whose drink this is, but cheers.
Cheers.
It's
Oh, I
empty-
thought you
empty
brought.
beer.
Oh, you brought us beers and not yourself
Yeah.
a beer. You
That's okay.
asshole.
My drink's waiting for me.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be out there in a second. We got was that the last?
Last top story.
That was the last top story. Man,
Yeah. Very
squeaked
competitive
by.
this.
Yeah.
Can I just say, like, Keyan is killing it with Stacker News.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that's that's
no,
that's
say
too.
bad things. He likes to hear bad things on that.
Yeah.
We
do you have-
tried to do we tried to roast you a bit at the design.
You did a great
ABDC.
job. I incorporated, I think, all of your feedback.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at the spacing around the preview, it's increased a little bit. It might not increase as much to your liking. If car scrolls down, you can see the comment section. But no, just look at the comment field. Like go up,
Yeah.
right there. See, I spaced it out ever so subtly.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, before it looked like one of those like little windows that you type into your customer service representative.
Well, no, because it was like the P, the leg to the P was like touching the border. And that
Yeah.
would upset a person like Topher, who is extremely detailed. But I had just accepted it. There are so many things like that anyway that you guys brought up that I found really insightful. So
I have I'm short, or I have nearsightedness. So from a distance, things start to blur.
I'm nearsighted as well.
And you can tell when things are jarring, because even through the blurriness, it starts to like stick out, like something's annoying you.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I should start designing Stacker News without my glasses.
So from a distance, like everything just feels soft and pleasing to the eyes.
Okay.
And then even up close, like nothing is straining. It's great. No, like the font, the styling, everything, the topography.
The only thing I would.
Everything's on.
I use the defaults of stuff, but you don't like what?
No, I said this needs to be slightly bigger. This bar, every time I see it, it just.
There's weirdness going on. I agree.
The mobile version is great. I love using the mobile version.
Yeah, and mobile version's on point too.
You just killed it.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, Topher.
Thank you,
See you
Topher.
around.
Yeah.
Long live bid escrow.
Yeah, dude, that was good. I didn't wasn't expecting a thorough explanation on that, but
You got it.
hopefully the stackers loved it. We're gonna jump into our top stories of the week. This is Keyan's top story, Mutiny Wallet questions to be answered. What's this?
Yeah, this is really great. So Darth Coin is getting a lot of questions about Mutiny Wallet, apparently, because Mutiny Wallet is a great, fantastic, impressive wallet.
Great wallet, dude. It's the best looking wallet out there,
That is
in my opinion.
coming on the scene from our friends here in Austin. Why is everyone in Austin? I don't know. Probably because we're
The
cool.
Mecca. It's the
We're
Mecca.
really
No, it's just the
awesome.
Mecca, dude.
We're at the Mecca.
just the Mecca.
You want to touch that?
There's more people coming.
meteorite?
There's more people coming.
Come
to
to Austin.
You
You want
have
to
no
touch
idea.
you want to touch the Bitcoin meteorite? Come to Austin. That's what Mecca's all about. Anyway,
Keyan,
did you know that you touch? I've had 3 beers now. hold on, viewers. I have to have this.
Darth Coin. He finally paid up on the beers. He bought the whole crew here.
Oh, that's right. I did.
He paid up finally.
Cheers. I mean, I
Cheers,
still
Darth.
need to buy like a $150 bottle of scotch or something.
We'll get him there. We'll get him there.
Anyway, but did you know that Mecca is about, when they go to Mecca, there's like a stone in the center of Mecca that's like a meteorite, or is it a meteorite or it's like a meteor when it touches Earth? But it's like a stone,
I have no idea. What
and it's like a holy stone. You don't know what Mecca actually means?
I was like, I thought we were talking about mutiny.
Well, Mecca is like an Islamic
Derailing
thing.
the pod, stackers.
Okay, Car doesn't like to talk about Mecca.
Let's just get into the top story. What's going on here? Why'd you pick this? Why'd you pick this one?
I wanted to teach some history, but it's another podcast.
Maybe that's another podcast. Stacker news history, I guess.
Stacker.history.
What's this? What's this?
Yeah.
post?
Anyway, Darth Coin, he wrote about, or people are asking him a lot about Mutiny Wallet, which is this in-browser wallet, and he went and used it. And so he had a bunch of questions for the Mutiny team that they answer in here.
Oh, Blue Matt commented. Wow.
And Blue Matt came in and commented, because Mutiny Wallet uses LDK and Blue Matt is, I think the lead probably on LDK, and has been. If you go to his bio, he's on Stacker News. It says that he was the 10th known contributor to Bitcoin. So been in the space a very long time. And he has a lot to say on LDK and the significance of what
they're building,
what it means. And really, he actually comes in and says much more than either Tony or Ben do. Tony and Ben link to kind of stuff that, answer directly Darth Coin's questions.
I will say this is just an outside view. I don't know anything. I'm not a dev, but you guys answer a lot of questions. Like devs have to answer a F ton of questions, more questions that I would even imagine you would have to answer for. And then that's not even a wallet. I just think in general, because a lot of you guys are devs, and like even when we're just around town, the amount of questions I've been around where, in the vicinity of these guys where they have to answer them. It's just like, what the hell? Like it's the same questions, just like over and over. And for me, I get tired of hearing them. Cause it's just like so many questions you have to constantly answer. Why do you think that is, Keyan?
There's a lot of surface area. I mean, that's basically that's what we're subjecting ourselves to when we build software products. The reason why we build software products is because they potentially create a lot of value for a lot of people. And when you have a lot of people, they have a lot of questions, and people are kind of predictable and they ask the same questions over and over and over. Just like we all get married over and over and over, and we all, wear t-shirts over and over and over.
It was shocking to me, just and I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying it's just shocking how many questions y'all have to answer for these projects. And
it's crazy. I wake up every morning and I have like 3 new ones. You get them with Pleb Lab, right?
No, not nearly as much as y'all do.
How many of us asked you about internet today or the bathroom
just
code?
Like you're the only one. Like, no, I'm saying like, no. I mean, like, I don't get nearly as many questions as y'all do. Like no one says, yo, Car, like, are you going to rug us on this? Like that doesn't happen. Like, with infrastructure, with like real world infrastructure, real world community, those things don't happen. They just typically in that area, it's just like, who is the person that's doing it? What's his history? What has he done before? It's more proof of work in that matter. Mm-hmm. And then there's a sense of like a social, what do you call that? Web of trust or whatever. Social web of trust. Social capital, I guess. Is that a word?
No. What is it called? It's
there's a certain word for it. Anyway. What I'm trying to say is like, that's what I gather. It could be wrong. It could change in the future. I think when I jumped, once I did that Peter McCormick video, just more questions came, but a lot of that got solved. I think
social proof.
That's the word. There's social proof there. That's just already built up. But I think for seeing y'all, it's the same questions I see over and over and over again. And I've been around a lot of them, just like, wow, the same one. So anyway, I'm not saying anything. I just thought it was really interesting because a lot of these questions, like I've heard these guys answer 1,000 times.
No, but it's great to have Darth Coin doing his guides reach a lot of people. Yeah. And so
cheers to Darth.
Hats off to Darth Coin. I don't know what time it is wherever.
He gave all the sats to those 2 guys. So zap them. Zap Darth. You don't have to be
I'm just trained.
You're trained.
I'm just
zap Darth. Yeah. Nah, I love to see it. And then also too, Blue
what
Matt
is Darth? Did you look at Darth's on first item? What number he is? We looked at
this 166. Wow.
Was he before or after Jimmy? Actually?
Oh, I don't know. Stackers, put it in the comments.
I think Jimmy was 168.
No, let the stackers figure it out.
I'm curious. I won't say it out loud.
Okay. My top story is Federal Reserve threatens to sue Bitcoin Magazine. Did you see this, dude? Literally, somebody told me about it, and we were eating lunch today. What's up with this?
I think it's lame.
Why are they suing?
I didn't even I only read the headline.
This looks like a CBS. Looks like they should be suing CBS.
Dude, they have like the whole government is staffed with lawyers. They don't have anything better to do. They see something that has their logo on it and they're gonna cry about it. I don't think
they sent it to Zach, dude.
To Zach?
Zach, yeah.
Wow. Wait, is that?
Yes.
That's his email address?
Doxed. No, it's on.
I see. Oh, it is. Wow, they use the same.
Dude, yeah, he's very popular.
Oh, I had no idea.
So Pleb Lab has as a lawyer, as an advisor.
I've also used Zach.
No, Zach's great, dude. He's. It was funny. Did you see him in Slack today? He was like, don't say anything, but he was like chiming in about all this stuff. Anyway,
I didn't see it at all.
It's pretty fascinating. I would say go check it out. I think personally, I think what you see here is just the same thing that happened to us early on. Is we got sued by South by Southwest because we showed.
You didn't get sued, right?
Huh?
You didn't get sued. You got cease and desist.
We got cease and desist because we tried doing Sats by here in Austin, and they've been doing South by Southwest for like 20 years or whatever. And we slightly adjusted the South by Southwest to have a lightning symbol. And then they sent us a cease and desist, and then we had to pull that logo. And then now that's why we call it Sats by. So that's why we have to run called Sats by instead of, before. But it happens. This is normal in media. Typically, you don't sell merch around it, though. So I don't know.
Their logo isn't even. It's Arial text, extra bold Arial text.
Yeah, actually, I think I have a.
It's just the name.
Do I still have that?
Is it like what?
Let me see. Oh yeah, what font? Let me see if I can do that. Yeah, it's Open Sans.
That's like an open source font. I don't understand. They can't write.
Probably this right here, maybe.
No, the Fed now can't have that eyeball in it. That's like part of what the parody is.
Yeah, I always use this font all the time. Let me see.
What's nice is so this implies they might be paying attention because who I don't know anyone who owns that shirt. I don't know anyone.
I don't know, man.
Like who
I kind of want to buy it
shirt?
now. I kind of want to buy it now.
Oh, this is probably great for their merch right now. Buy it before they run out of it, guys.
Yeah. Look at that. Get it now, Snackers. Do they sell them? Damn, $49, really.
That beanie might be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see. Can you go back to that beanie? How did they get that beanie printed? It's like full.
This looks like that looks like original stitching, bro. I don't know. They do high quality stuff at Bitcoin Magazine, man. They do high quality stuff. Anyways, just wanted to bring that up. I thought I was entering. Does the Stacker say anything? Darth Quinn says, I thought this was one of the Bitcoin Bugle news. Yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin Bugle's been
crazy, dude.
Lately.
So every pleb running a web store with shirts, what your next design should be from No Account. Yeah, he has a good. Yeah. Anyway, that's all the top stories for the week. Let's get into the top stackers. Keyan.
Yeah. Top stackers. Let's see. We have our video monitors this way. It's a big 80-inch big boy. So
we need to figure it out.
But
something out.
Yeah, we just moved in this evening. But top stackers this week. Elvis Mercury at the top of the charts. Oh, he added a nice
zap him. Look at that profile, dude. That's so cool.
Yeah,
look at that profile pic.
He really means Elvis when he says Elvis Mercury. Darth Coin, Undisciplined. Natalia, look at me falling far.
What's going on with
rankings. Bird Eye, so many great stackers. Look at all these sad stacks. Like
Rook's keep back, baby.
Rook's up in the top.
Come on, somebody zap them.
Zap them. What is Rook's number? See, look, Darth Coin before Rook. Darth Coin or Rook after Jimmy's song. Look at that.
I don't know, dude. You got some OG stackers. That's still early too, though. Rook's still early.
That is early. You guys are early. What is your number?
My number? No, this is my old one, but let's see. I got mine's not nearly as
you have to be like around the same time. 529.
Ooh, I'm so short.
You're earlier than Topher.
Of course I am. Coob, I found you.
You did.
Found you early.
Yeah, we connected pretty early. You connected before I even launched.
This is what I do.
But Jimmy preceded you because I think we talked at a Bit Devs where we talked about Stacker News.
Yeah, but Jimmy loves Stacker News now. He loves it. He's always loved it. Really cool. Oh, also should mention merch came in through this week. Did you see that? What he posted?
Oh, that was
really nice.
Yeah, I thanked him in that. That was really.
Where was it at? That he put that here? Oh yeah, he posted this one. I should have shared this one, but basically, Stackers Merch did a post. If you don't know who Merch is, he's one of the most beloved devs in the space.
He's like the sweetest person. Like you would,
oh my God.
You would want him. Like I would vote for him to populate the earth. Like,
he's such a good person.
If you could do that.
He did a whole whiteboard session for me at TapConf this year. Just like explain the mempool with a group of others. It's just so nice, dude.
He was my first like Bitcoin teacher. I had him at Chain Code. He was my like
He's great, dude.
my like lead educator at Chain Code.
Yeah, so he had this post where he goes, seems like Stacker News is inching towards critical mass. It's been really fun. Great job, Koob and team. And people don't realize, but he does a lot of amazing work too behind the scenes.
I mean, Bitcoin Stack Exchange completely well, not completely, but to a large extent, very active on ObTech and
mempool.
Yeah, and is I don't know. It's like he's regularly handing off the torch to younger developers, and I think not even getting credit for it. And
I would love to have him on the pod. His stories are like some of the best stories, just about the previous era. Really cool. Really cool seeing merch on there. The next thing we're gonna jump into the most boring. I can't even do it with a straight face. See, I told you.
You don't think it's boring.
I told you Rook was a top.
Oh, he put himself back up there. Wow.
Called it. Dang.
Oh, that's why we're seeing Rook again.
Yes.
Someone called him out on it or something.
No, because I told you last week, you were like, yeah, they can hide their cowboy status. And I was like, oh, that's dumb. And then I started thinking, I was like, oh, Rook would be top cowboy. Look at that. He's taking the top throne. No one's going to touch Rook. Look at this dude. You're not going to touch him.
Yeah, I mean, he's the inventor of the cowboy. He is the one who came up with it.
He is.
So he has. If he's not in the lead, something's wrong. But what is
Ben Carmen?
If you hover over his hat, how many days has he been?
Does it say 276 days?
Almost a year.
Take a day off. It's on Car. Take a day off.
Orthworm. I'm getting up there though. If Kevin slips up, he eats a little too much turkey.
You don't go
on
276 days, dude.
Canadian Thanksgiving.
160 to catch up.
I'll be right. What am I? What am I though?
159.
Oh, I'm right behind Orthworm.
Look, I got my money on Ben Carmen.
Ben Carmen ain't gonna stick around. He ain't gonna do it. He can't hang. Can you, Ben? You could probably hang. He was dressed up as our friend for Halloween. It was hilarious.
Keyan's drunk at this point. All right, Sackers. I think that's all we got.
I'm not drunk yet. I've lost my frontal, like half the capacity of my frontal lobe.
So it was a good week on Stacker News. Keyan, what are you doing this weekend? What
am I doing? I'm gonna merge PRs probably. There's a bunch of PRs that have been waiting, and then
whoa, what's this?
The newsletter. I don't know. The internet has been dropping. Oh, we might have not recorded the whole episode.
No, we recorded the whole episode. It just died right now. So the Stacker News.
We're back.
But I'll connect these two.
All right.
Anyways,
yeah.
What are you doing this weekend?
Not much. I'm gonna probably just work and might come and try to finish moving in my office. How about you?
Same thing. I got a couple stuff to send out and then just work pretty much. I'm happy though. I'm going to enjoy this night, drink some more beers with the crew, and then get back to work tomorrow. Yeah.
Great.
Stackers, have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. Hopefully we'll be set up with the green screen and everything next week, and then we'll go from there. Keyan.
Zap.